global interaction. Egypt is to host more than 3,000 youth from all over the world, exactly from 86 countries, including Europe, including the Black Continent, including from Asia, from all over the world. And when it comes to youth, they all speak the same language of ambitions, of hopes, of dreams, of zeal, of enthusiasm, of a wish to lead a wonderful life, of a wish to lead a very successful career. But how all this can be achieved? Through what? Via what? To answer this question, we do have a beauty, a young lady. She is successful regarding her very first steps in her career, as she is a lecturer. She is specialized in political science. When you see her, you are not going to discover that this is going to be her specialty, as she's, with this smile, I don't think that political science is the proper subject. Yasmin Makhlouf. Yasmin, thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
And as I said, more than 3,000 youth coming from all over the world, from 86 countries, are going together from the 4th to the 10th of November in the Red Sea Resort of Sharm el-Sheikh. I'd like to know first your first impression when you know that this is going to happen, and when you know that all those people are going to come and together in Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt.
I think this was expected, as the government has been working on programs for the youth since the very beginning.
Yeah.
Also, I think it's going to be a great chance for the Egyptian youth to show off our skills and capabilities. And I think that Sharm el-Sheikh is like the best location possible because Egypt is a very international country. It has a huge expat community, and the youth of today are very international. I mean, most of us speak at least 2 languages, not just Arabic, but we might speak English, French, German, depends.
Yeah. And the hashtags.
We need to talk.
We need to talk, and All for Peace, WYF 2017. I think the words, or the choice of words, is very accurate.
Yes.
And maybe because of this, it attracted a lot of people from all over the world. True?
Yes, I think so as well, because they're very catchy words. And I think we need to talk it shows a need among the youth that they actually need to talk. It's not just, this is just a simple hashtag. No, it's the people, the young people are willing to talk because there is a need to talk.
This was my coming question. What are the needs? I mean, what we should talk about?
I think that
priorities. Let's have a list of priorities.
The priority of the youth for now is to be employable, because since, as I told you, Egypt is a very international country. I think that the young people usually want skills that they can acquire easily and fast, and also, sorry,
no problem.
they want to learn skills that are easy to implement, because everybody can read and write, and all of these kind of skills.
Yasmin, you are very systematic, by the way.
Yeah.
And,
thank you. I don't know if this is a compliment.
And by the way, it's not a compliment. When you are my age, you will know that whenever you are speaking with someone whose ideas are arranged, it's very obvious since the very first statement said. But regarding a big event like that, if you are going to go there and to participate, what's going to be your homework?
My homework. Okay, I'll tell you. I watched the video that they've been posting on their social media, and it starts with this woman walking in heels, and she says that it's not her, it's someone else that is speaking, and it was talking about how not feeling comfortable wearing clothes that you want to wear in places that you shouldn't be wearing them. And this was like the very first line, and it was very, very catchy. And I really liked it, and I thought, yes, they're going to talk about things that we can relate to. And I think one of the things that the youth really wants is improvement in education. And I think that, as myself, in my very humble opinion, I think my homework would be to increase the social involvement of the youth in education.
Youth or women?
Both. Because I don't think gender really matters when it comes to education. I mean, you're young and you want to study, and you want to develop yourself. So it's not just that you're receiving from.
Yasmin, you're doing great, and what you're saying is great. But don't you think that one of the most important issues or key elements is to exchange experiences? I mean, every country has its own circumstances,
Yes, of course.
and its own needs, demands, and it may differ from a place to the other. Why I've chosen this and why I've not chosen that. True.
Well, yes, but
Or there are things which are universal, if you want to say so.
well, there are things that should be universal, but this forum is very important, especially when it comes to education, because we can learn from other success stories. I mean, the government is already working on facing certain challenges, and it's taking models from abroad, which is the very interesting things. I think that this forum will foster, you know, the progress of these approaches or plans.
Our dear editor-in-chief wrote a very, for me, interesting question about sustainable development. And the word sustainability, for me, is also one of the key words, because it should be implemented on every aspect and in all domains.
Yes, true.
We are not working for today or even for tomorrow. We are working for, or we should be working for the coming generations.
Yes.
Do you think that this aspect or this notion, this concept is prevailing, or the youth are still thinking about with a very short-sighted point of view or vision?
I think it's both, because the very young is thinking about today. Now, what can I do for today? But
the very young meaning
the
you?
very no, I'm not so young.
Okay.
I mean, like high schoolers.
Okay.
Yes, this is like the
High
segment
schools
I'm
are
talking.
teens, dear.
Yes, they're teens,
Yeah.
and they still have a say in. What I noticed is that even if they're really young, they still have a say about what happens around them.
Sure.
And this makes me understand that information is flowing in the country, which is good. But the older people, the university students, I think they started to have an idea of what sustainability means, because you have, for example, engineers in college working on sustainable ways for creating energy.
Yeah.
So I think this notion is getting into all of the academic fields, very slowly, but it is.
Yep. You are such an example to answer these questions, because you are dealing with, of course, your colleagues and your teammates, and also you're dealing with the undergraduate students.
Yes.
Do you think that there's a gap between you and them? I mean, despite the fact that you were older just 3 or 4 years, but maybe the way of thinking or the way of looking at the future, their vision are different. If you noticed that, and if you want to elaborate on this.
Yes, the gap is very small, but 4 or 5 years, they really do make the difference. Because, for example, now they have access to sources that I didn't have access to before, or I mean, yes, sorry. Or, for example, we started university during a certain period of time, so the political environment around us, especially for us political scientists, influenced the way we thought and the way we saw the world around us. So I think let's say they started growing in an environment that was safer, because we started going to university when the revolution happened. So the perspective changed a bit.
Then you're saying that, in specific, the political turmoil or political circumstances, when they are found, they do change how the young man or the young lady is thinking in general. And maybe it's also affecting the way they are looking at things.
Yes, of course, because I think they were too young to remember, and not too young to remember, but they were still young. They weren't thinking about, there's a sudden political change, what are we going to do? No, but like us, as like my generation, we saw that, and now we're like understanding the process that the country is going through. So.
Yasmin, I had the pleasure to meet with some of our youth who participated in many of the youth conferences here in Egypt.
Okay.
And each one had a different experience, whether a man or a woman. And they had only one thing in common, that they do prefer and they are eager to repeat the experience. In your opinion, Is it because, and I know that you have been through this experience before, is it because the gathering, is it because that you are all talking the same language of being a youth, of being looking to the future with a very ambitious vision, or what?
I think that the most important part of these conferences is that you feel free to express yourself without the fear of being judged by someone. It's the total opposite. Even if there are policymakers or older policymakers, they're there to listen to you. So you feel empowered. And this is a very amazing feeling, because sometimes the youth don't feel like they actually have the power or the resources to do something. But we do. And we have opportunities are opening up.
In all fields?
Well, in some fields more than others. But
this is my question. I mean, of course, it's the circumstances or the environment now is paved for the youth to build the future of this country with their own hands.
Yes.
And as you've kindly mentioned, the elders who are going to, or the most experienced, let's say so,
Yes.
who are going to go there, are going there mainly to listen
Yes.
and to exchange points of view. And maybe, you know, one of the most amazing pictures or photos I had, I've seen, I mean, when President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi was in any of those youth conferences, and he was just having pen and a paper, and he was writing down what the youth or what the young lady in front of him is saying, just to remember what he or she was saying, and to implement even the recommendations of those very young ladies or men, because those are the ones who are going to build this country,
Yes,
and in the near future. But this does not mean that the photo or the image is rosy. Of
Yes.
course, there are
Challenges.
some obstacles,
But-
challenges.
yes, I wouldn't call them obstacles.
better-
Challenges.
Better word. So, in your opinion, what are these challenges?
Well, I think that one of the challenges is that not every field is treated equally compared to the rest of the fields. But I think that programs like the PLP, the Presidential Leadership Program,
Yeah.
are making a difference, especially for students of social sciences, because we always have this this differentiation between social sciences and actual sciences,
Yeah.
like engineering and medicine, and there are a lot of opportunities for these fields, but not so many for social sciences. And I think that this program is actually empowering this sector of academia. And it's very interesting because it doesn't teach them theoretical skills that you acquire in university. They actually teach you how to practice what you learn. And the prerequisites or the requirements of the students that would like to join the program are very minimal. You just need to be Egyptian at the end.
Yeah.
So it's very nice.
But still, you know, even with all what you have said, there are people who are thinking that those included in such programs are the lucky ones, only the elite, or only those who had the opportunity to go and to find a way there. And of course, the programs are not going to contain millions of Egyptian youth.
Yeah.
But what should be the responsibility of those graduated from these programs to practice what they have learned and to benefit this society according to what they have learned and to what they acquired, the experiences they had, the data, the information, everything?
This question was answered in one of the videos I was watching about the Minister of Education. I mean, we need to, as young people, we need to understand that we are huge. It's a huge country, okay?
Yeah,
the size factor is very important, okay? We're like 70 million young people, so it's kind of like a lot. The idea is that what the minister was saying is that all of the programs that they're implementing right now, they target a specific number of students or teachers or whatever, and they don't force it on them. They welcome the people that would like to join them, and then these people will function as positive role models, which is very smart. Because when you see that one of your colleagues is doing better and is getting better outcomes, eventually you would like to learn from them or go through the same training or participate in the same program. So I think it's not about elite or aristocracy or whatever. It's just about the will of developing yourself.
Yasmin, you know, the hashtag we need to talk, or this very simple phrase, we need to talk, it indicates a lot. And many even went that far with their hopes to say that maybe such forums or such incidents, such events, may solve problems the elders or the big names were not able to solve. Do you think that we should go that far, or it's just a trial or an attempt?
I think we should, before judging, we should let the events occur, and then we can give an analysis of what happened.
Why, Jessie? I'm asking this.
Yes.
Let's talk like this. When it comes to tens of workshops, thousands of youth from all over the world, they don't speak the same language, of course. And maybe they are going to face a kind of, or some difficulties in the communication in the beginning. And after that, a day or a workshop after the other, it's going to be solved.
Yeah.
Just like that. Because we are human beings by the end of the day, and we communicate by nature, or it's an inborn issue. What should we expect? Because whenever we are expecting a lot and we are dreaming a lot, then we are going to work for the success of this event.
Yes.
We are going to try to turn it into a successful story. True?
Yes, I mean, the best thing about it is that it's not just bridging different cultures and different civilizations, but it's also trying to reduce the gap between, you know, the government and the youth, because you can help the youth only if you understand what their needs are. And I think this forum will give the chance for students and young people around the world to maybe find something similar, relate to each other. And I think this is why people say that the youth speak the same language, because eventually we're going to find something in common. And we're going to see the benefits of this conference on the long run, because it's not like something you're changing the color of the walls. It's not like you're gonna, in the morning it's white and at night it's going to be black. No. It's rather a process, and we're gonna see the benefits of it on the long run for future generations. This is why you start from the youth.
Yeah. But of course tomorrow is another day, and one of the most important steps which should be taken is to follow up with the recommendation or the results of these events or these forums, because they are done because of this. We want to know what we do have and how we can implement this on the ground. So is it a responsibility shared by both the youth themselves and the government, or one side is shouldering the responsibility more than the other?
Well, I think it's both, because you can't have the government giving you a lot of inputs and no response from the youth, or a lot of inputs from the side of the youth and no response from the government. I think it's a 50-50 situation, because we give you the resources, you give us the idea, you give us your willingness to develop, you give us your effort, your commitment. So I think it's a 50-50 situation.
We do have models, like models of the EU and of the United Nations and stuff like that, and I think that they are now implemented in many in many of our universities all over Egypt, and not only in Cairo. It started, of course, in Cairo long ago, maybe 2 decades or something, but now it's implemented in many of our universities. And because of this, you would find Ambassador, Your Excellency, for example, coming with such an experience dealing with people in this diplomatic way, as you're doing. And it may be something strange for those who are coming to Egypt for the very first time, thinking that Egypt is not that advanced, and that the youth, our youth, are not speaking, as you've kindly mentioned, also 2 or 3 languages even, and they are very much acquainted with the surroundings, whether in Egypt or all over the world. How do you see the reaction? Or
I mean,
if if this is happening to you, what would be your reaction?
Well, it happened to me before.
Wow.
I was like, okay, wait a second.
Okay.
I had a conference abroad, and I went to the conference, and I had a very good time. And then when they asked me about my nationality, and I said Egyptian, they were very shocked, because the outside world doesn't see how truly Egypt is. And this is why I'm so pro this conference.
Yeah.
Because it's very international, and it will make people understand that, you know, we're here, we're developed, we're advanced, or
We
at
are
least
not going
we're
to
still
work on
developing.
camels, guys.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And they're like, but you're a girl. This is the one thing that pissed me off the most. I mean,
You're what?
a woman, like a girl.
Okay.
It's weird that I'm traveling
It's
alone.
weird.
Yes.
Okay.
But I mean, I'm not saying that this is completely erased from society.
Yeah.
Yes, there is still some sort of like small.
Some sort of.
Yes, exactly.
But it's not
the
something prevailing
exactly.
or the general way
It's
of
not the
dealing
general
with
idea.
females.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I was like very disappointed. I thought that they were a bit more developed. But
Yeah.
it was the
So
opposite.
that they were more developed,
Yes.
but they were not. Okay, you were
But
going
it's
to teach
okay.
them
I
some
proved
way.
them wrong.
Sure. But let's return back to Sharm el-Sheikh.
Yes.
And to the event itself. Because this event is going to send a lot of messages to the whole world.
Yes.
I think one of them is the one you've just mentioned, how the Egyptian youth are just having their life.
Yes.
In all domains, whether it's education, whether it's social media, whether it's languages, whether it's acquiring skills, everything. How do you see the messages which are going to be sent by this? You name it. Egypt is capable to hold or to host such events with a huge number of people, security, safety, stuff like that. The Egyptians are capable to do this and that easy. We can run this on our own. I mean, you have the mic.
I think because I've been through the ideas in the panels exposed in the forum, and they're very interesting because they tackle among a lot of different topics. So this shows that Egypt is aware of what is going around them, of what is going on in the world, and the youth are the ones who are extremely interconnected with both inside and outside students, young people, however you want to call them. I think that the message, the main message, is a message of peace, because of previous events. Outsiders, they have this idea that Egypt is not stable, Egypt is not safe, but it is. We're living our lives very normally. We're developing. We're advancing in our careers. We're learning new things. We're trying to develop our country. So this says something. I mean, we're not the unstable, not really safe country. We are a stable, safe country that can welcome a lot of conferences.
Egypt is on track and is going forward, and nothing is going to hinder this path, inshallah, or this journey.
Hopefully.
Yasmin Makhlouf, my dear guest, I had the pleasure to have you.
Oh, thank you so much.
And I'm going to leave you
pleasure.
with a promise to see you again in another episode of Cairo Local Time.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, by this we come to the end of this very special episode of Cairo Local Time. Till we meet again same time on Nile TV International. Many thanks for watching. Stay tuned only on Nile TV. And for more details, please log on to www.nileinternational.net. Many thanks for watching. This was Nermeen Abdurrahman.